So now I guess we can count Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen as not the cringiest use of that song related to a movie.
I'm glad it was you. That's all I'll say on that point.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, I missed what you said.
I said I'm glad that it was you that said that.
Yeah, that was a little too on the nose for me. But outside of that, yeah.
I guess that's a personal favorite of Snyder's too. So
you don't say. Yeah.
It felt like him being like, "Oh, you didn't like that when I did that in Watchmen? Well, here,
you didn't like when Night Owl was fucking the Silk Spectre to this song."
And the flamethrower was like his dick.
God.
But no, this actually kind of anyway, before we roll into it, hi everyone. What the fuck else do you think we're talking about? We're recording this on August 22nd, which is the same day DC Fandom air. I'm here with Erik, Arlen, Hunter, and Lou, and my fucking god, what a rollout of stuff this was.
I'm high on video games.
Before we get into this, I'd like to address something that was said in the prior episode with when is it Isa? Isa was on? Was it Isa? Is it Isa?
It is a
Hunter. Fuck you. Because I read the first trade of Crossed, and I have this thing called Wikipedia. I'm automatically the guy who reads Crossed on a regular basis.
So okay, that's fine. But when I watch Beastars once, I'm all of a sudden a furry.
Yeah.
Hunter, here's the problem. You didn't. Erik didn't lead the topic of said, thing with like a photo of shirtless Garth Ennis. Like,
you did that.
You kicked the door down with a picture of like these jacked, burly, like fucking grotesquely ripped man animals that look like they walked off of Dr. Moreau's island.
And if I'm remembering correctly, my description of Crossed is like, it's really not for anybody. It's really not for anybody. And you've said multiple times.
That's the funniest part.
Beastars is the story's good. The story.
I watch it for the plot. Leave me alone.
Yeah, says every person who's ever jerked off to anything.
Although to defend Hunter, I'm pretty sure it was nominated for an Eisner this year.
That's the funny thing. I like from people who watch it, they're like, "No, it's really oddly good." I'm like, "Okay, it's still bizarre."
Yeah, it's still weird.
Oh yeah, Wolf was funny.
Yeah. Things. Yeah. So crazy dudes fuck a dolphin, or you get to watch a wolf fuck a bunny. Which is the poison you want to watch?
Yeah, which is the one.
Which kink do you want to endorse?
Yeah,
I was just saying, like, to segue and the wolf fucking the bunny. Do you want to talk about those Space Jam jerseys, Hunter?
Oh God. Okay. Hold up. Like, let's step outside the meme for a minute that I really like Space Jam. All right. Like, would you agree that the Space Jam uniform is kind of a thing? Like, it's not.
Hunter,
yes.
Here's the thing. I don't give a shit about the Space Jam uniform.
No. But would you agree that like there is that's an iconic part of like that whole movie? Is that
sure?
I've never seen it for me, and I've never cared to. So
yeah.
I think he means for people who weren't born in 1880.
All the olds.
Well, there's a whole lot of
certain
certain type of people in that movie that aren't acceptable to people who were born in that time.
That movie, that the sequels memed into life, essentially. That everyone was like, "Wouldn't it be great if?" And then,
they made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back the fuck up, Lou. What did you say?
Do you not remember that the main song of that movie?
Oh shit!
Oh no!
It's R. Kelly.
Oh fuck!
Oh god!
I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. He recorded that as he was having underage sex with Aaliyah, I believe.
Yeah. Man, you're batting 1,000 today on your choices, Hunter, aren't you?
All right.
Yeah, I think it came out after he had a 14-year-old peon.
Oh, nice.
It was never proven. It was never proven.
It was done in the same studio that he recorded.
Oh, it was. No, but I thought. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was. There was something weird about it that like
they refused to. The family refused to press charges. They said it was the girl.
That's it.
Yes.
that's where that joke on Chappelle Show comes from. Where it's like, how you gonna make a video about peeing on people? He's like, how are you gonna make a video about peeing on people?
Yeah, I think I got through one episode of the docuseries. I was like, this is too fucking heavy.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
I
I'm
couldn't do
good
it.
on that.
But anyway, DC Fandom was today.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like
was it?
this whole like digital experience where it's just like, here's a host and they're standing in a giant CGI void, and now we're just
Okay.
gonna transition to a segment.
To be fair, there was points of that where that was weird. Like they had the host just standing underneath the Wonder Woman cast at one point, and I was like, "This is odd."
I saw the French guy. He was odd.
Yeah. Who was that guy? Like, because I tuned in right before they announced or showed the Gotham Knights trailer, and I was like, who are you?
I believe that is the lead, the creative director at WB Montreal.
Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I didn't have any context, so I was like, oh, hey, random French guy. Okay.
He seemed very awkward, and like he introduced a celebrity that I think is a celebrity, but then was like a tennis player, and I was like, I don't know who this is.
No.
Okay, can we all agree that the best celebrity appearance was Will Arnett? If you were watching live, like.
Oh, I
did
didn't
not
see
see that part.
Fuck.
Okay, so he was there for the Suicide Squad game, and it ends with King Shark, Harley Quinn, Digger Harkness, I think it's Digger, and Deadshot all chanting "Let's do it for Will Arnett." It's really good.
Nice.
But yeah,
I was just going to say, for the sense of sanity, we should probably do things in the order that they were were revealed.
That was my next thought. Is like, what do you want to address first? I guess what do you Wonder Woman?
I guess. I mean, that was the little bit I saw. I was just like, okay.
I thought Cheetah looked cool.
Yeah.
I watched that trailer on my way to the store, so I'm on foot, and it's like just blasting daylight, and I'm looking down. I'm like, I can't see anything. I'm like, but this sounds really good.
Yeah.
I did like the line at the end where Chris Pine's like, he's like, parachute pants? Does everyone just parachute now?
Right. Yeah. So I have a complaint. It's that it's a lot of the same stuff that we've already seen. It's just a lot of Cheetah, really. That's the new stuff that I can really remember.
I like how they try to make Kristen Wiig look frumpy, and it's not happening. Like
it's not working. It's not working
like,
out.
That's just Kristen Wiig. She's a very pretty woman. Why?
Yeah.
I love Kristen Wiig.
Why you do this, Hollywood? Why you try to minimize these women?
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Oh no, it's not minimizing the women. It's that like they won't hire actual frumpy women to do acting roles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, yes, obviously.
It's so that came out really bad. But you know,
no, you're. I know exactly what you mean because they've even. I feel like there's been a quotient that's trying to be met of women that Hollywood thinks of as frumpy over the past few years, and even then, they're not really frumpy. They're all actually very attractive. It's just that by
Hollywood... Here's stories from Titanic where James Cameron's nickname for Kate Winslet was like whale or like blubby, like blubber. Yeah. Kate Winslet, one of the most beautiful women on earth. He was like, "Shut up, you're fat."
Well, James Cameron has a complicated relationship with women. Let's say.
Shitty. Shitty is the word you're looking for. He has a shitty relationship.
I'm saying,
with
like, it wouldn't surprise me if like more people in Hollywood who are that powerful and influential look at women with a far more wacky and like just like insane view.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't even think like taking the term frumpy, which that sounds like we're a bunch of fucking men from the 1950s, and B, like that word, like, it doesn't apply really to what they're doing. They're taking women who aren't considered traditionally or Hollywood like beautiful, and it's just like, well, actually a lot of the women that they're choosing for these roles are very attractive in their own right. And it's odd that
you don't get much Charlize Theron is like not wearing makeup.
Right.
She is, but she's supposed to be like very unattractive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like,
this has
why-
been 5 guys talking about women's attractiveness and what makes them
Yeah.
attractive. or
No,
not.
what I mean is like
Listen, I am the arbiter of this, so we are allowed to talk about it.
that's
well,
great.
I mean, yeah.
I think it's
Sitting
like
on my
also like
throne.
the Simpsons gag where Mo goes to audition and like they're like
Right.
he's like, you said ugly. He's like, we meant TV ugly. You're ugly.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kristen Wiig's hot in her 80s clothes. She's really great. Yeah, they focus a lot on her in this trailer, just her character. It's kind of like the opposite of the other trailer, which was a lot of Max Lord explaining what he wants in life.
I forgot
So, yeah.
that in this movie.
Yeah, he is. There's a lot of stuff happening in this movie. Yeah, I don't know. I feel as excited as I was months ago when this movie was coming out.
Yeah, I'm like, the more I see it, the more I like this idea of like it's a wish fulfillment kind of thing where it's like, yeah, I can give you what you want, but like, of course, there's gonna be a fucking price for it, and I'm
Right.
obviously assume by the end of the movie that this is all temporary and that all of it's gonna be undone.
Yeah, they've kind of revealed, I guess, what the golden thing in the case is, which is that it's just everybody gets what they want, which is kind of cool as an idea. It's monkey's paw for the entire world, basically.
Yeah. It's a better
So, yeah.
origin for her than like either of her like comic book origins of like being a geneticist and stuff. Or like the more recent one is like she's like the avatar of like a cat god, but not she didn't choose it, like it's forced upon her.
Oh.
I'd just like to point out with what Arlen just said about, everybody gets what they wanted wish. That means that they're going to be having you can't always get what you wanted playing during the credits.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Obviously.
Guaranteed that song is going to pop up.
That's
at
not
some point in
named
the movie. It doesn't
Some
matter.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chris Pine is gonna die again.
Yeah.
That or he just goes into non-existence, I guess. Like he just returns to
Yeah.
Oh my god, what if he's like Kenny in every Wonder Woman movie?
He keeps on
pops up
killing
to get
guys.
murdered by somebody.
I didn't
It's
think,
like, oh my god, they killed
yeah.
Steve.
Or like he keeps getting put in positions where he has to kill himself.
Yeah.
See, I would prefer when he eventually disappears at the end of Wonder Woman 2, that the way he disappears is the way he died in that plane wreck, and it happens in front of Diana. So he's just
So she has to
being
see it.
burned to death. Exactly, so she can see the horror before her eyes. Yeah, it'll help steal her reserves. Yeah.
Watch, like she goes like, and now we have to wait for this wish to be undone, and for you to die. He's like, yep, any second now, and like nothing happens. She's like, you son of a bitch. he's like, yeah, about that, I parachuted out.
He's like, well, also, I'm a Highlander. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
I'm an immortal.
A puff of smoke in Steve's shape, and he's gone.
Yeah.
He just changes from Chris to a different Chris.
Right. He changes in.
He turns into Chris Evans.
Yeah.
He changes one of the.
Chris.
He just replaced himself with a Hemsworth. And just
Exactly. What is
But
that
it's
from?
it's different. You got it wrong. Yeah.
So I guess we've already seen most of the stuff, but it's cool to see Cheetah and Kristen Wiig. Fuck yeah. Unconventional, but I like it. So I think right after this was
Gotham Knights.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So, okay, before we get into this, I have a little bit of a gripe with your reaction to this game.
Oh, I'm with you.
And it's that
What, the fact that it's a game for service
Okay.
or whatever?
yeah, you I'm so mad
You
about
got
this.
him a stuttering, people.
How the fuck do you see like a health bar and like it's a games of the service? It's a games of the service. Like it looks almost exactly like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more polished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's more like it's an action RPG. In every press release I've seen today about the game, it says action RPG open world.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like there wasn't
like- Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have that sweet check?
Yeah, so there's the Hulk with big fucking red and black shorts. God, it's the dumbest thing. But like this, it's co-op. Co-op doesn't mean it's a service.
No,
No.
in fact, I think the fact that it's an RPG kind of makes the co-op more interesting because, like,
Yes.
you're building your character around a co-op thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and are you theoretically going to be take your your Robin that you have progressed to a certain point and jump into someone else's game and have your character who's maybe you're farther along the host and you're just this ridiculously overpowered co-op buddy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Dark Souls, where you can bring someone in who's like levels ahead of you, and they're essentially like like a really effective bodyguard / tour guide.
Yeah, it's like it's a thing of where like people. I get you're cynical. I understand. There's reasons to be upset at the games industry sometimes, but when I see a 2-player game that is very clearly modeled after like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, like. You're just looking for things to be upset about. There's no like you can't balance a games as a service game for 2 people. It's just not going to happen.
No.
We're not going to see that very often.
Yeah, also have people lost the idea of like what multiplayer means, because it doesn't just mean it's going to be a DLC roadmap nightmare. It's like, no, it's just multiplayer. Do you remember when you sat on a couch with 2 controllers? That's what it is, except you're in different televisions.
Well, I mean that's co-op. Like multiplayer is like Gears of War multiplayer and Call of Duty multiplayer. Like that is what multiplayer means now. Like co-op is something that is kind of dead. Like you don't really see like a narrative driven co-op game all that often.
I think the last one was like Army of Two.
Actually, Wolfenstein Youngblood is the last one I can remember.
Yeah, and that game is doo-doo trash.
It does have like some cool like scenes in it, but like other than that, it's not worth playing.
You have to make it through like 75% of the game to get to the one really cool thing in it, and it's but that's not what we're here to talk about. But yeah, that's honestly, I think you're correct. That is the last like legitimate like co-op story-driven game that I've seen. And that's what gets me super excited about this, like, is that it's going to be story driven, but you can play multiplayer or co-op if you want, but you don't have to, because I'm wondering if it'll just be AI characters will jump in as necessary, or if they won't have them at all.
From what I understand, it's building off of like the team attack thing in Arkham Knight. So like
that makes sense.
Your partner is either a bot or it's another player.
Okay. I'm into that.
I'm really looking forward to being another player, because like as cool as the double team thing is in Arkham Knight, you're relying on AI, and sometimes you're just like, all right, just keep doing what you're doing,
I'm gonna go walk into this corner for 5 minutes.
Yeah, keep hitting that wall there.
Why can't this be someone else? So now that we have that, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And good.
Like you get 2 people who play this long enough with like enough synchronicity, like the game experience probably changes drastically.
Yeah.
And that's how it was for Dark Souls with me and my friend George. Like we played so much fucking Dark Souls that we can walk into a room, not talk really at all, and clean the whole thing out like super effectively.
We're gonna have somebody wander off into a completely different hallway and
to look at a butterfly.
Most of the stream.
With this trailer, like, and I know you'd said it, Connor, and I also agree 100%, because it was the one thing that was like, that was Bab's voice in it.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Barbara Gordon's voice.
So
is it not Tara Strong?
It's not.
I don't know.
It's a relatively unknown voice actor.
Wow, because she's done.
I can't remember what her name is. It's like America something.
Yeah, and it's super. It sounds very Valley Girl-esque.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use
Tara Strong has done that voice for what, like 30 years at this point.
I should mention that it did come out that this is not set in the Arkhamverse.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
which
this is like a new thing.
Weird and upsetting, because to use like, I guess the ending of Arkham Knight as your setup, even though it's not connected, is really bizarre.
Well, but that's
the aesthetics and stuff.
That hasn't been confirmed that that's their setup. It's
Bruce
is dead, but we don't know how.
I mean, the the opening of the trailer has like news footage, like news audio saying like among the mansion rubble they found, he was
They found a
discovered.
body.
Yeah.
It's far too
Yeah.
similar to what happens at the end of Arkham Knight for you not to go like, what do you mean it's not connected?
It's
definitely
certainly
post
confusing.
Nightfall. I think it's
Yeah.
definitely post Nightfall.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I
don't
saw
know.
something online that said soft reboot. Something. All right, so you're just you're taking the series in a different direction aesthetically and story wise, but you're running a few things here and there. But this is its own thing now. That's fine. I get that. But say like, I go like, yeah, it's not part of that. It's like, okay,
because there's nothing that happens because even Jason has like the scar on his face. It's not the J, or at least doesn't look like it.
No,
Mm.
and he had the tuft of white hair too, which I don't remember.
Oh, from the old
Arkham
school,
Knight.
yeah. Was that the?
That was the.
Do you
Hush
have that in
Lazarus
Arkham
kid.
Knight? That was the Hush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In Arkham Knight,
wasn't
he
it.
has. Yeah.
He didn't have that.
I don't
white
think he
hair,
has
if I
the
remember
tuft.
correctly.
That was
Mhm.
only in that one Hush run. They never used
Mhm.
it again.
And
And then Grant Morrison made him a secret redhead for some reason.
If I recall correctly, he's blonde in Arkham Knight.
No.
No, I'm
I
pretty sure
don't-
he has
Really?
black hair.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
had
has
black hair.
black hair. You're right.
All I know
No.
is that the new Red Hood has seemingly gone to the Chris Redfield gym.
Yeah.
The
Dude,
fuck
he's
up.
huge.
Well, he's not like. I like it though because like Dick is a gymnast, so he'd be like
Mhm.
kind of lanky.
Right.
And what would he be? He's the fucking Batman Punisher. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Also, he has
Big Russian
guns.
house.
I
And
think those are like stun guns now because like at some point he is just blowing a dude away. I'm like, if
I don't
Bruce
know.
were alive.
because like part of the setup makes me think it's like, could this be playing into like Battle for the Cowl? And
I
like,
think
maybe.
the idea is that it's like melding things together because like
Yeah.
it looks like they're going for Court of Owls, maybe Battle for the
Mhm.
Cowl.
Well,
Right.
they're also taking from the I think it's the Tyrion. I can't remember the writer's name. He did
Tinian?
Tinian?
yeah, he did the
Tinian?
Detective Comics run recently.
Mhm.
That took place in the aviary. Like that's
Oh.
where their Bat Cave essentially was. But it was Batwoman who was in charge of that group instead of Batgirl. And
Yes.
I'm getting heavy vibes that Batgirl is going to be the main quote unquote character of this game.
Yeah, that was
Because
the
all those
Tim Drake,
codes.
the Tim
Mhm.
Drake led like Bat family team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Right.
Batwoman kind of took over. Yeah, where her dad was in charge of that group of paramilitary
Oh,
guys
there,
who've
yeah.
been studying
That's
Batman
where like
for years.
Clayface was part of the team, which was cool
Yep.
as hell.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, I think they're taking from, I mean, like they always do with Batman games, they're taking from a lot of stuff. But I mean, there's been a lot of really good recent runs, so it makes sense to borrow from those. But yeah, that's looking at Batgirl's outfit, like it looks the most polished out of all of those outfits, and that's kind of
Well,
what
we
makes me
see-
think she's the lead character.
Yeah.
The one in the trailer is different from the one in the playthrough. The one in the playthrough looks like Batwoman but purple, and the one in the trailer is much
Interesting.
more Batgirl of Burnside
Yeah.
looking.
Right.
I'm also I'm thinking you're gonna get different costumes or possibly
Yeah.
customizable.
Yeah, because Robin is also in a completely different costume than
Yeah.
playthrough.
Well,
He has like a
he's in Red
full
Robin, too.
helmet.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah, he's in
he's
a Red Robin type outfit.
Well, I don't know if any of you guys noticed when they were showing the playthrough, it looked like there were points where you're collecting some sort of like some sort of not collectible, but items that could be used to build stuff with.
If it's an action RPG, it's probably going to have crafting. Like, that's
and I don't
that's a
mind
thing
that
that'll
in the
never
Bat
go away.
universe.
No, I'm 100% for it. Like this is
like one of the. Oh, go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm surprised it's taken them this long to make an action RPG with Batman characters,
honestly,
if not Batman himself.
It's a thing
One of
where
the
DC probably has the most characters that could do that, and like to do it with this is interesting.
Well, especially Bat characters. Like I'm looking at the lineup, it's like, oh, it's those four. It's like, okay, well, we could add Batwoman and Batwing at least to it, and that'd also be like awesome as well. Like,
Signal in it.
There's a big list. You could even, if you want to, pull some like more obscure Batman Inc. people. But like I could see customization being a thing in this, especially with how much fun you can have in Justice 2 with like I'm just gonna like just make these ridiculous looking versions of the DC superheroes.
If I can make Robin look like Squire, I'll be happy.
Actually, yes.
I'm waiting for them to have like a Damien costume, like with the hood.
Yeah,
I think I cannot see him not being in this game in some way. He's the only Robin we haven't gotten in a video game.
I think that's too much backstory, and what makes Damian is having Bruce to help raise him.
But he doesn't. When he initially gets introduced, Bruce isn't there, right? Or does Bruce die like right after?
Shortly after he becomes Batman.
Yeah,
or shortly after he becomes Robin. Yeah.
See, I think it wouldn't be a bad story plot to be like, I'm Bruce's kid, Bruce is dead, and like they're like, what the fuck do we do? Like the rest of the kids.
I feel like it's too much. It's too much backstory to deal with.
Also, like most people are more familiar with Tim, Jason, and Dick, and not enough people, I think, know who Damian is or how important he is.
He's been on a lot of the animated stuff for like a while now.
I think Damian is a thing where like that would be what you would do in the next Batman game.
Yeah, because my only thought is like that original teasing. Didn't they have stuff with? It was the Batman, Court of Owls, and wasn't the League? Was one of the other symbols.
And who knows? Damian could be in the game but not playable, and then playable by the next one.
Like I could see them as like a third army group in this.
Well, Robin is using the Justice League satellite to teleport. Like that's hard to confirm.
Which is I can't describe how happy that little factoid makes me, because
this is so crazy.
The implication of that universe is like the Justice League now trusts these 4 people so much that they're like, use some tech that we have up in the fucking Watchtower. Like, and I want to hear like
Batman built that shit.
Yeah, I want to see more into this like universes, like how like the rest of the DC universe itself, like characters like interact with this little development.
And how do they react to Batman being fucking dead?
Yeah. I think they trust 3 of them a lot, and then one of them maybe
one of them they're like
one of them is not like the others.
Like we trust 3, and everyone looks at Barbara.
She's
like,
wait, what?
No, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Misogynist?
Fucking Christ!
I was talking about Red Hood.
I was talking about Red Hood.
Oh my god, guys! The joke was she's never going to be wrong. You'll be surprised by this. That's why it's funny.
I get it. I get it now. But
I get the joke. It just wasn't funny, you motherfucker.
I'm not impressed.
You are off the show. You're fired. Bye. No.
But combat looks fun and weird. Actually, looks at the Assassin's Creed comparison. It looks far more polished than Assassin's Creed. Because as much as I love the combat in Odyssey and Origins, sometimes it is so fucking clunky.
Oh yeah, no, that game. There are points where like I'll be like swinging my weapon and it'll just miss it completely, and I'm just swinging in an opposite direction.
Yeah, and it's like it's like I'm not doing anything to anyone, and the dodging is not responsive, and blah blah blah.
So that's why I just snipe people with bows.
Yeah,
I mean that's one way to go.
All right, now I can go down there with my giant axe and start just murdering people.
Right.
But yeah, this looks very, very fine tuned, and I love the aesthetics of like the fight. Like Barbara's got a lot of purple in her attacks.
I love that she has a tonfa. Like that's a cool one. She's never had that in the comics, but it's cool to see her with like an exclusive weapon, because like we know Tim has the bow and Dick has the Eskrima.
And Jason has murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason's the practical one.
Right. Yeah. He's the one that's smart.
You're stupid. These guys don't get back up.
Right. Yeah. I can't wait for a spin-off game where him and Vigilante team up, and they're just they're just.
I feel like if anybody should like, if they're like, oh, why do you use guns? It's like, well, when you get killed and come back to life, then talk to me.
Well, he's doing it because he knows where they're going, because he's seen it, so he wants them to be as horribly punished as he was.
Also, I think his pistols are just too techie looking to be not non-lethal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's still a murderer.
Oh no, I'm not saying he hasn't, but in this game, I'm betting they'll come up with a way around the fact that he just, he has guns. They'll just probably like, they're riot rounds.
If it's M, he's killing them. If it's T, he's not.
Right. I'm trying to.
I jokingly said this about the Suicide Squad game earlier, but like I really want there to be a moment where like Jason Todd sneaks off and kills somebody.
I was
He just has like a little blood on him.
I just finished reading the Batman and Robin run. I forget James, whatever his name is. Same guy who actually wrote. Yeah, thank you. I can never pronounce his name. And there's a point in it where Batman and Jason go back to the desert where Jason was killed by the Joker, and it's under the guise of a mission that they're going out there. And Batman tells Jason, hands and feet only. So he's shooting live rounds. He's just shooting people in the hands and in the feet. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's using live rounds in this game too. Like unless it's a T-rated game. Then
they did that in the comics a while ago. He's like, just know. He's like, I don't care as long as you're just not killing them. And he's like, it's like.
Right. My thing is, you can get around the idea of Bruce killing people in like Arkham Knight by just saying, well, he doesn't, so he isn't. But even though like you're playing that game, you're like, that guy is fucking dead.
You hit a guy with his with the Batmobile so hard he flies to a building and he's not dead.
Yeah, there's also that whole scene where like Bruce just backs the Batmobile just a little bit over a guy's head. I'm like, the first instant where that has any weight in it, it would crush his fucking head like a melon.
Being that thing can take tank rounds, I'm pretty sure it weighs a lot more than a human skull.
So I would think, like, to get around the idea of Jason murdering people, they'd be like, I think they will be like, oh, they're taser rounds, they're this and they're that, because it's like you can buy like
ball rounds.
Like I said, like Batman isn't killing people because he doesn't. But you're like, but Jason has killed people before.
Well, keep in mind, Batman's dead, so we don't know what the rules are.
True. I mean, we'll see in the game, but my context for Jason mostly comes from the Outlaws run, and in that he's mostly tracking down like serial killers and stuff like that, people who are very bad and maybe deserve to be shot a little bit.
Well, in his part of Battle for the Cow, which I love his fucking costume, his entire thing is like, people stop being scared of Batman because they know that he won't kill them. I'm putting that fear back in them. He's just fucking murdering the shit out of everybody.
So also we don't know how much of this game is the owls and how much isn't. If it's a lot of owls, he can use as many guns as he wants because owls are like mummies. They're
which is funny because like
them a lot and they'll just get back up. So
the owls and Mr. Freeze being part of the same game makes so much sense because he was a big part of that story.
Yeah, he was. It looks like they are really pulling from each of their individual arcs just based off the little bit we saw, which is interesting because those arcs, at least as they were written for the most part, did not intertwine. Not that I can really remember. I know that Jason shows up in Damien's book and Damien shows up in Jason's book from Night of Owls.
I think mostly like doing the Court of Owls is actually a really smart way to like reboot it. Because like I don't know if that would work in Arkham. Like looking back, I don't know if you could just be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a secret society beneath all of this. Like where were we during Arkham Knight?
Yeah, right. And they so fleshed out and feel so lived in. It's like, where the fuck have you guys been? Yeah. Like the League came back twice.
The only explanation you can have is that they were afraid of Batman, which I don't know about that. I don't know if that.
That would actually hurt them as like a plot point.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, the thing I was thinking is like, I think the reason why the owls will be a big part of this is because once Batman's dead, they're like, all right, there's no one who's going to be able to figure out what our entire history and what we're doing is because, world's greatest detective, they would know all that. So that's why they're like, all right, now is the time because potentially our biggest impediment to doing our plan is gone. So let's get this on.
The brains of the operation is out for the most
Which is part. Why like that team works so well because like Tim is the detective, Barbara's like the tech person, Dick is the leader, and Jason is the hammer.
Right. It's gonna require them all to work together, and
he's the murder hobo.
Yeah, Jason. It's it's the terror, the heart, the brains, and the leadership. Like that's they're all aspects of Batman. It's just they're not one person.
In regards to them like shooting the fucking owls, like there's a sequence in DC Abridged during the Court of Owls movie where Alfred is just blasting them with a shotgun and he's going, self-defense.
Yeah.
I don't, before we get too lost in the woods about this, I do want to point out a small detail that I noticed that I really like. There's civilians like in the game. Like the streets aren't empty.
Right.
Oh, I noticed that too. When Barb's riding around, I'm like, holy shit, like you're in Gotham, like a living Gotham, not like an abandoned one or one that has, that's under a strict curfew or something.
Yeah.
That reminds me,
Like,
I love the mechanic. I love the mechanic of her shooting off of the bike.
Oh yeah,
like onto the roof. I was like, ooh, it works. It's good.
Well, Hunter, was it something you brought up that you had seen a rumor that the Nemesis system is going to be in this?
Yeah. So there's supposedly, and this is from 4chan, so take a giant
right. So before you say this, I would be shocked if the Nemesis system wasn't in this game, just based on everything we know.
Supposedly, this is the largest. This is the largest Gotham map that there's ever been in a Batman game, and that there's 17 districts, and each one is controlled by a different talent.
Okay.
And that's how the Nemesis system works.
Okay.
Yeah, But here's the part that makes me kind of think that there's some validity to it, is that it nailed the cast of the game. Like,
right.
It nailed Jason, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin. Like,
well, yeah.
It's
and also,
not hard to nail though.
That fits true.
It's not, but when there's details lining up, it adds a little more validity. I'm not saying it's true, because like I don't know. But
yeah, but just again, like it would be silly for them not to. That's my main thing is like if they don't, they're losing. they're losing something.
It's technically their proprietary game mechanic. Like it was developed in-house for Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War.
Actually, here's the crazy part. It was actually originally supposed to be in a Batman game.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Well, it's probably going to be in an early version of Origins, which would make a lot of sense because of the way Origins is structured for each villain to have their own crew that you're trying to take down. So yeah, like obviously.
And then they realized it wasn't going to work on the 360. So.
Well, yeah, and they weren't going to be able to put it all together, and then that game ended up being buggy in some places anyway. So
I still love that game.
No, it's a good game.
Yeah. If I can have one last thing, the one thing I hope we get is the Talon that's connected to Dick specifically.
I'm really hoping that too.
I really hope that they incorporate Damien's Talon from the book isn't that interesting. So if they have to jettison him, although I don't remember Tim's stuff from Night of Owls.
None of the other ones really have like a interesting one. It's just Dick's.
Well, no, Barbara does have that one who ended up becoming one of the birds of prey. So she's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Her backstory is kind of cool, and if she shows up and they do her backstory, I'm not going to be against it. It involves like World War II and Hiroshima.
Okay, that's
so there's some, there's some cool stuff there, but like again, I don't even remember what Tim's stuff in Night of Owls was.
I think Lou saying Dick's talent specifically though would make the most sense because of also what
his
Richard.
Connection.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because of what it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's come back. He came back like real recently.
Well, he's also he is the Talon. He's the first Talon that you meet, so it would make sense for him to show up. Also, you don't have the ability to do you don't. Wow. Spelling it out for people who don't know it. But we don't have I don't think we're gonna do Lincoln, so it would make the most sense to have the original Talon be in this game as he was in the books.
The final boss is Abraham Lincoln confirmed.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. He's gonna come out of that penny and
4 score and 3 leg breaks ago.
He just fucking turns around and throws his big old hat like Kung Lao.
Yeah.
It's lopsided because it's so tall.
Well,
he tips it and a laser beam comes out.
I just like the idea of Abraham Lincoln doing a slow motion like takedown from Arkham Knight on somebody.
Did you not see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Nope, didn't need to, didn't want to.
And you're right.
What came after this? Because at this point, which side note, I played the Avengers game. We might as well hit this up real quick.
So,
I played the Avengers beta, and it's actually pretty good.
I like it. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a great video game because it is a really, really solid like Destiny clone. I'm not gonna lie about it.
But it's a Destiny clone that's a beat 'em up, and that's what I want.
Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna say people are being too harsh because they're not. It's not for everybody. But
nope.
From what I played, I'm excited to play more.
If you're a Marvel fanboy, this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Is
yeah,
it worth
that's all I
$60?
wanted to add. I don't know yet.
I'm not. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I
can't say at this point. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going to
think-
buy it day one, but I will definitely keep a very close eye on it. And if something piques my interest, then I will probably pick it up.
The thing is, if this launches and A, it's buggy, B, it's just inundated with like we've already covered, like live service tropes and like lots of incessant like buy this shit, stuff for its longevity and like the DLC. Like I think that's gonna really determine whether this is a success or not. Like I don't want it to become Battlefront where it's like, yeah, we released a shitty game and now we're gonna fix it over the course of 2 years.
Well, Connor,
No Man's Sky.
Connor, I hate to break it to you. That's every live game. There's
I know. I don't like it because it's like, here's
Connor, how much would you put down for like a Rob Liefeld Captain America skin?
Actually,
nothing at all.
Upwards of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Well,
but you have so many pouches.
So, okay, here's the thing about that though. The marketplace is on the beta, and I did look around, and it's just skins and emotes.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing scummy about it, really. It's just like
it's just aesthetics.
Yeah, it's like there's no gameplay stuff.
Well, did they say are they dropping other characters in there?
Yes, I've heard.
But I thought part of their plan was that stuff was actually going to be free.
Yeah, no, the characters are free.
Yeah,
you say that, but
no,
I remember
they've
Street
literally
Fighter
talked
5.
about that.
No, they've talked about it.
Yeah, the characters are free.
My larger point was like we have to see how this game is fully realized first before I think we determine whether or not like it's an absolute home run. I'm glad like your takeaways were much more positive than others I've heard.
Yeah, it's people are being a little bit hyperbolic with their complaints about it, like the Jim Sterling complaints review, whatever about it. Like I understand some of the things he was saying, like the Verizon skin and all that other garbage. Yes, that sucks, and it looks like corporate decisions were made there. But from just a straight up gameplay standpoint, like I enjoyed what I was playing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They really do a really good job of making you feel powerful. Like it's a game where you feel the weight behind Hulk's punch. Like
oh yeah, he was the most fun to play as by far to me.
Yeah, like if you get Hulk into like a combo situation with an enemy, they're dead. Like they're not stopping you. Like it's so
you tear through enemies.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Each character plays very differently from each other too, which I was surprised at.
When Thor throws his hammer and it can pin enemies against the wall. It's pretty good.
And you can call it back when you want to.
And it's other people.
Yes.
So well, those were my two favorite characters to play as was Thor and Hulk.
Yeah. No. See, the thing is, like, it's a game that if it's bad, it's gonna eventually be good. And like as long as they're committed to fixing it, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I think there's too much money in it at this point for them to be like, we made a boo-boo. We made a big doo-doo mess. Let's just forget about this.
Oh, go ahead, Hunter.
I've brought this up before, but Square Enix runs the second most popular MMO in the world. They're not going to fuck this up. Believe me.
Yeah, I think the trepidation for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, comes to the fact that, like, you had Anthem, and Anthem was talked up and talked up and talked up, and, like, I can't think of a recent, more, like, falling on its face, big profile game like that. And it wasn't immediate, it gradually just died.
Well, the thing was with Anthem's beta, because I played that, you could tell that there was something wrong with that game. Like going in, like it was cool initially, but then it's like, this doesn't seem right. And as you kept going, you're like, wait a minute, this is really not right at all. But
did you see that?
Go ahead.
Did you see that shit where Anthem still has its holiday decorations up?
Yeah, I've heard that game has been abandoned.
It's so sad.
But like with Avengers, like they let you play through a chunk of the story missions, which are fun, and they definitely feel kind of Destiny-esque. Like that's the best way to put it, or Destiny 2-esque. But then when you go into the quote unquote online area, like it's nowhere near the same as like what Anthem was doing. Like this actually feels like it has some like difference in locales and like the things that you're doing, and like they fall into the tropes of like multiplayer games, but they still have the core thing that I like about the game, which is the battle engine feels fun.
Yeah, and the maps are small, but they're like purposely small. Like they're not. There's a reason why they're small, because like I could see if these were huge open world maps, this game would be barren. Like completely barren.
And I mean, I'll even admit, like some of the stuff when the world does open up a little bit, like when you get to start playing with that, it does feel like, all right, that's a whole lot of stuff out there that there's nothing going on, but then there's a lot of stuff that's nearby, so you can just jump from a small battle and get some items to power up your person, then jump to another one, and then as you head towards your main objective. So yeah, it's handled well. Connor, I would say download it and try it out just to get your opinion on it.
I got one more day, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I believe Monday's the day it ends.
The Destiny 2 comparisons, like I played a shitload of Destiny 2 for a while. That game is great and is
it is
an example of how to do like games as a service, like as a good video game, because that game had me for a long time. But then like the same thing usually happens. I hit a certain level and I'm like, I'm not really getting much out of this anymore, so I'll just put it down.
Yeah, that's the Destiny 2 problem, is you reach your level cap and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and unless you buy the DLC and then you reach your level cap in that, you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
At least the expand, like the Avengers, like it's a thing of like they could very easily add story expansions and it'd probably work really well.
Yeah, I mean, DC Universe Online like has like new themed story expansions like I don't know, like every 3 months it seems. Like there's always some kind of event going on or some kind of expansion or some more gameplay.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they're still funneling money into that
thing.
thing.
I just started a new fucking character in that game like 3 days ago. I don't know what came over me.
I fucking love that game. That game is just it's not. I haven't spent a dime in it, but there's something about it that I just really love.
I like it because I like running around like this giant like. I can go to Gotham, I can go to Metropolis, and while I'm doing it, there are 78 Deadpool knockoffs around me at all times.
Yeah, it's so good.
Also, like you do like stupid like online play things. Like I saw someone like doing like the brooding pose in the corner of a building, and then several other people got next to him and just made this long line of brooding superheroes. But I don't remember what was the fucking Flash panel after.
No, I think Suicide Squad.
No, Flash and then Suicide Squad. Because I remember Flash was the point where I was getting ready to go to my sister's house.
Okay, yeah. And this wasn't a lot of anything really. It's lots of Ezra Miller being Ezra Miller, for better or worse.
Ezra Miller being still attached to this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did he choke somebody, Connor? Is that what you mean by him being Ezra Miller?
The thing of that story is that like there was no follow up on that, and I guess
I looked up. I scoured today, and I was looking, and there's nothing past like April 20th. Like it just died.
So it'd be hilarious if like he came to this panel and he was like Hannibal Lecter. He was like strapped to like a gurney.
With that hair and beard.
I feel like
Warner Brothers just locked him into a room.
But like my only assumption is like whatever happened wasn't as like dire as what we saw, because
there must be another side to it.
Yeah. Well, I bet there was some like money exchange to like quiet it all down.
Well, I don't see. I'm beginning to wonder if it was even as bad as it looked, because I showed that video to one of my coworkers who he didn't know anything about a Flash movie and coming out and whatnot. And I was like, oh yeah, Ezra Miller and all this. He's like, wait, what? And I showed him the video, and you're watching, and the woman he's doing it to is laughing the whole time he's doing it. So I'm wondering if there was a whole lot of misconstrued information here, because kind of like with that movie he did. Fuck, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about the shit. It was about, I think, an officer who killed a young black man, and people are up in arms saying like, "Oh, he's defending him," and you watch the movie, and it's actually an indictment of the dude, but nobody actually watched it past the first 5 minutes. Let me see if I can find the movie, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 attempts to cancel Miller, and like neither of them really landed. So at this point, I don't feel a need to bring it up because like clearly nothing is going to happen because of it. So it's just whatever's gloss over it. I guess the biggest things from this were the suit reveal, which if you look online for the more official, like the concept art they were hinting at, the big, like the actual image they were taking from has Michael Keaton's Batman in full Burton regalia behind him, like backing him up.
Yeah.
But aside from that,
they talked about some of that stuff. It was interesting.
Yeah.
That was the one, I think I watched that in the Suicide Squad panel, and that was the one where I was like, okay, they're really not talking about anything because they haven't filmed anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw random images and they seemed interesting, I guess.
I mean, it's a thing where like I feel more confident now that they're talking about it more.
Right.
Like, they're being more open about it, at least.
Well, also, Andy Muschietti is still talking about it, which tells me that he's still a part of this, and he wasn't just...
The other thing is the Keaton and the Affleck news. Like, you don't announce that unless you're doing this movie.
Yeah.
Well, they finally got, like, locked down a director and writer. And because the thing with the suit is that it's Bruce Batfleck that's supposed to have made the suit.
Right.
Yeah.
For him. So
it looks so cosmic. Like it looks really
it looks like the new 52 suit in many ways, where it has the lines, which they said is like it's like alive, which makes sense that the lines could be like the Speed Force kind of flowing through him.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Speaking of which, I after seeing, I don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but I think the Snyder Cut is going to formally introduce the Speed Force, but we'll save that for when we get to the actual trailer.
Well, they also, I can't remember, the one actress said that like, oh, like I read the thing about the Speed Force and it's nothing like we've ever seen. I'm like, okay, but like it's like it'll be interesting to see his interpretation of it. But yeah, it looked, the Flash stuff looked interesting, and like the idea of their multiverse of what they want to play with is cool. I really hope, and I hope on a dream, on a star, and that like because of what they did with CW, that they would allow Grant to do a similar kind of thing.
I mean,
in the movie.
At the very least, you show that scene again, right?
Yeah,
you
show
relight it a little bit.
Show it and then have it continue from Ezra's point of view.
Yeah,
like have him leave. And then just like that does so much, because like having him in the Crisis episode was fucking crazy at the time. So to do the same thing the other way would not only ingratiate fans of the shows, but like would show like, oh, you guys actually kind of know what you're doing now.
Right.
Well, it's like it's also excellent like brand synchronicity. Like everything is finally feeling like it belongs together. Also, like sort of like loose point, like it was crazy and big at the point where it's like, why would you not follow this up with something substantial?
Yeah, exactly.
So bizarre to not. It would be so bizarre to not do anything with it. But yeah, this is a lot of talking heads because the movie's currently vapor, so there's nothing really to show us. Has some concept art. And then then they boogied, and Ezra Miller was weird the whole time.
Yeah. All we can really do is speculate. Like we were talking earlier about
what?
Yeah, giving us weird flashbacks, and I was like, "Who wrote these? They're doing him a disservice." Like that was some weird PA producer thing of like, "Here, read these and say the phrase flashback," and it was just
like, were they weird? Like a walrus has a 15-inch 3-pronged penis. Flashback.
There was one of them that was like that hippos can run faster than humans. And that Superman's a vegetarian and something else.
Metallica fan.
Wait,
Metallica fan. Yeah.
Wait, is that canon? Is he really a Metallica fan?
He claimed it was canon.
It was canon pre-New 52.
Fuck. I'm gonna call DC tomorrow.
I think that's really funny that like that straight and narrow fucking quirky Clark Kent goes home and thrashes fucking Metallica.
Right.
No,
Well, I mean, there's nothing better when
Midwest.
you're picking up a tractor and taking it apart like a Lego, and you're putting it back together. Nothing better
Listening
than
to
listening
Metallica.
to-
Sandman headbanging.
You're listening
Yeah.
to Kill 'Em All back when they were thrash, or he's listening to Load and he's just a sad, sad old man.
Or
No,
he's
listen-
listening to the orca. What's the orchestral album? Is it
S&M.
Yeah.
I say I was a huge Metallica fan in high school. I know all the albums.
I'm not shocked in the least. God,
It's the
okay.
Black Album. That's all that matters.
So Suicide Squad was the next one, right? And I actually saw
Yes.
stuff from that. So
That one
yeah.
was fantastic.
I wish I
I-
would have seen this panel.
I love the idea of this movie so much.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
It's-
and like for the movie, before we even saw a movie or anything from the movie, we've got this panel where James Gunn split the cast into two teams and had a trivia round, which then turned into
Oh, wow.
everyone roasting Michael Rooker. Then like they let Kinnaman and Davis pick their team members, and like at some point the guy who plays Polka Dot Man and Peter Capaldi are like, "This is just like high school over again. Here we are, just sitting here by ourselves."
Yeah. The guy who plays Polka Dot Man's been in every comic book
Yes.
thing ever.
Yeah,
I think he has. Yeah,
He's
been
Baba
in-
Yaga
he's been
Man.
everywhere.
He's
He's
Baba
probably in
Yaga.
the background of the older Marvel movies. Like he's in
He's in,
Fantastic Four in the background somewhere.
Was he was someone goofy in the Flash too? The
Kadabra.
magician,
He was something
something
guy
like
from,
that,
like-
where he was a magic guy from the future, and then he's in
Yeah.
Dark
Oh,
Knight.
Abracadabra?
Yeah, he was
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, and then he's in Dark Knight.
yeah.
He's the dude that Two-Face like screams at in like the alley or something where he threatens to
Yeah.
shoot him.
No, Bruce yells at him in the alley because he's the dude who tried to kill Gordon.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and then Dent gets his hands on him. That's when he makes him flip a coin.
Yeah.
Bruce is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"You can't leave this chance."
Oh
Yeah,
my
right.
god, he was also in the Bad Fox show, whose name I won't say.
Oh my
What?
god.
That could be.
Gotham?
That
the
one.
one that's connected to comic books.
I was about to say that could be literally anything, and then I thought.
Right.
about it.
You got to be specific.
Wait, he was in the Cape?
Oh, I watched
no, that
that
was an
show.
NBC show, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
But
I
he's in,
forgot
like,
which
everything. I'm
shitty
like, he's in,
comic.
like, He was in Twin Peaks. He was in the MacGyver.
Yes,
TV
he
show.
wasn't. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, in Twin Peaks, he's the.
It says Pit Boss Warwick. He's in.
Yeah,
3
he's the
episodes.
casino. Yeah, he's one of the casino under.
He's
like
workers.
the
I always get him mixed up with the guy from Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland
That's like,
Drive?
there's a man behind the dumpster back here. Like, I had a dream about him. Like, it's those two dudes could be
Okay.
brothers.
That shit is the scariest shit ever.
I feel like he's baby John Turturro.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, kind of. He's
I can
kind of.
see that.
I feel like he has that same weird, tall, lanky, like weird guy vibes, but
Yeah.
he has a much smaller paycheck.
Yeah, yeah. He'll get there someday.
We need a
He'll get-
shittier version of John Turturro. Oh, get this guy.
Oh wait, no, not Nick Turturro. We don't need Nick Turturro.
We need a John Turturro that we can afford. Anyways, can I just say, Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. I
It's
can't.
fantastic.
The
knocked me out
perfect
my ass.
casting.
I didn't know at all that he was in the movie.
I think I had heard, but hearing it again and like, yes, please give it to me. I need it. I need it now.
Anything to wash the grossness of the TV version out of our mouths.
Well, yeah. Yikes.
But yeah, but here's the thing compared to that, like here we're interested in the actors playing this, and the actor who played Flash was the best thing about that entire
Oh,
arc.
Yeah.
When he was in
Well, I mean,
7 episodes.
yeah.
Yeah,
It went bad when he wasn't there.
Yes.
When he
Yeah.
was,
dropping quality.
But I
Well-
also like the costume because they showed like he has like shit on his head. It's not
Mhm.
a goofy chair.
Yeah, he kind of looks like some of the variations of Brainiac that we've seen in the comic in the past,
Yeah.
where he's had stuff coming out of his head.
Oh,
I did want to bring up the fact that before we went any further, Suicide Squad, how I don't even want to say angry, just frustrated DC Warner Brothers must be after seeing the response to this Suicide Squad and knowing that James Gunn was only here for this and he's gone now.
They're like, shit.
Like, why? Like, I wonder if they're just like, why didn't we lock him down? What the fuck were we thinking? Like,
Could you imagine if he just did both? If he just did it like he's
if
just
he
the
just
man that does
continued,
just jumped back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just something that came to mind when I was watching the trailer. It's like, this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how angry DC is right now. But
he just brings the same actors with him to both movies. Michael Rooker's like, wait, I don't have to be painted blue in this movie, or do I have to be painted blue?
I also feel like with a lot of these announcements and just this event in general, like this feels kind of like a letter of apology to all the people who've been angry with this regime for the past 5 to 6 years.
Yeah,
kinda. Yeah.
A lot of it does.
That regime is mostly gone. That they're angry at.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's definitely like a hey, we're with you guys. Like we care about your opinions too. Here, look at all this stuff we're putting out.
Please.
A lot of it does feel like. Right. Yeah. A lot of it does feel like, yeah, we have the same problems you did because we were off working on Conjuring movies and looking at this being like, yee.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, it's so grim and dark. Why don't we have like King Shark like wave high?
Okay, hold up. I was just about to bring that up. I want to bring something up here. 2020 is the year of King Shark.
It fucking is.
He's in everything. He owns all.
It's the best.
I also like that we've gotten
love
the jacked monstrous production house that is the Flash version, and then we get this delightfully fluffy looking King Shark.
Well, no, I think it's just the spectrums are the Flash, and then the Harley Quinn is the other side of the spectrum.
Right.
Yeah, where he's just this friendly oaf.
Where it's
he's
Funches.
Chonk Shark. Ron Funches.
Ron Funches.
Yeah.
But
when you see him in the Suicide Squad game, it's like also the other coin where he has.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, he's sort of. Yeah, he's kind of like in between.
Yeah,
the
he's
movie
like a little.
and...
He's a little closer to the Flash version.
Yeah,
but he's still funny.
Well, he's Samoan Shark, and that again.
I forgot about the animated version. King Shark is a shark. Holy shit! There's so many King Sharks.
Don't take grievance the fact that they very clearly stole that from those YouTubers.
Oh, 100,000%. Yeah,
it's so weird and obvious. Yeah, the footage we saw was like kind of like a production reel, but it had some few shots in the movie. This looks fucking nuts. Are they going down to like Brazil to fight a dictator?
I think so. Like they compared it to a 70s war movie, which is like, all right,
isn't it? Are they fighting Starro? Is that this or the video game?
No,
video game
from the looks of it.
Brainiac.
I think the bad guy's Starro.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to be a reveal, though. Which again,
yes,
Starro.
But it better be the gigantic goddamn starfish Starro, and not like the one that goes over people's faces. Like,
well, no, those are Starro's babies, and the only better version of Starro is
the Robin Starro.
The Robin Starro is the greatest creation ever. Watch Scott Snyder.
But that's great. Yes.
Yes. Oh, where he calls Batman Dad, and Batman calls him son. And he's the most powerful being. He is literally the cornerstone to Dark Knight's death metal. They're like, we need to get the most powerful being, and it's Jarro. That's his name. Jarro, because Batman raised him in a jar.
Well, on the dictator thing, I was reading about Peacemaker because I don't know a lot about him, only that John Cena is playing him. But apparently his only villains are dictators, so I think he's a huge part of it.
Oh yeah,
Hunter, I have a question.
John Cena's explanation of the character is perfect. It's okay. You're gonna be James. He's like James Gunn wants to be. He's like you're gonna be Captain America, but you're a douche. Right. And he's like, I got it.
I'm good at this.
Oh, and side note, Peacemaker was actually a really cool part of the Grant Morrison written comic Multiversity. It was an issue that was modeled after Watchmen, and the Question is the Rorschach character in it.
Well, Rorschach is the Question.
Yeah, but it's really good, and if you get a chance, if you can read that on its own, it's really fun. But anyways,
it's just weird looking at like Peacemaker. I'm like, oh, like it's so close to being Orion, like the costume
Yes.
design. I'm like,
yeah.
all right, maybe I'm like, oh wait, we went through all of DC fandom and we heard nothing about that New Gods movie. I guess that's dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
probably
see.
at this point.
actually true.
I forgot that they were even working on a New Gods movie.
Oh, you
Yeah.
remember when they hired the lady before? I can't remember her name. When she had what was that big Disney movie before it came out?
Right before A Wrinkle in Time had
Wrinkle in
actually come
Time.
out, they hired
She
her.
got that signed, and then they Wrinkle in Time bombed, and they're like,
Yeah, actually, if I remember correctly, the name of the episode where we talked about the New Gods movie was Hunter is a New God Atheist.
Yeah.
So
And
it's,
guess I
yes.
predicted that it was going to be canceled, and guess what, bitches?
Maybe God is Hunter like our God level person in the podcast, and we didn't
Yeah,
know.
I had the
'Cause
Mobius.
Eric,
I
don't
had the
say
Mobius
that.
he's
Eric,
he's-
you know what that means, though. You know what will come true.
he's conjured Moon Knight. He almost
Yeah.
conjured Batmite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Again,
Like you spent hours of conjuring Batman to the universe, I might add.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think he's just a mole at this point.
Yeah.
So-
Well, is he the most disturbing character in this movie, Weasel? Which
I
every
love-
image of it was disturbing.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that it's Sean Gunn playing him too. It's
I know.
perfect.
He gets to be another like small mammal
Yes.
being in
Yes.
CGI.
There were definitely some of the characters that they revealed that I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like,
Oh,
don't
I
have
googled a
any
bunch
idea.
of them.
Oh well, they're gonna kill them all. This is so
Well,
to
yeah.
address Leo's comment.
Yeah,
Uh,
I googled the Nathan Fillion one. I was like, who the hell is TDK? And it's like nobody knows. And I was like, oh, he's in this movie for a half a second to just
Yeah,
get
he's gonna
fucking
get killed. Like I was saying in the
He's
comments, like
arm fall off boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who he is. Yeah, no, that is who he is. I believe he's
Yeah.
supposed to be arm fall off boy from what the not the
From Legion of
Titans.
Superheroes, yeah.
That's it,
Right.
Legion. Yeah,
yeah.
Uh, Jesus Christ. Yeah,
I just
but
like
yeah,
the fact that Polka Dot Man's gonna be in a fucking movie.
Oh,
mhm.
I hope he's like after the big battle, it's just him and like Idris Elba and like Jai
Yes.
Courtney, like all the big names, and then just Polka Dot Man. They're like, how are you
Hiding beneath
alive?
like
Wait, you don't think the actor Flula Borg, who's playing Javelin, is going to
God
make it
damn
very
it.
far in the
God
movie?
damn it. He's gonna die so hard, and I'm gonna love it so much.
I
God
imagine
damn
like
it.
a javelin is shoved through his mouth.
Yes.
I like
Well,
that
I
this
need it.
year. I like that this year, like various properties, like between animated and movies, have elevated Polka Dot Man, the Condiment King, and Kite Man.
Mhm.
Oh my god, Kite Man has the saddest story ever.
Yeah, well, and for those who didn't see Harley Quinn yet, Condiment King is, as named by Kite Man, his personal nemesis, and just shows up to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk
So
about like
good.
Pete Davidson? His name is Dick Hertz.
Yeah.
His Blackguard.
Well, real quick, was that one character Mongal? Is that Mongol's daughter?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I
Uh,
because the one that had the orange face and the red hair. I mean, I think she looks like she's the same
I thought-
race of characters as Starfire.
Oh, I thought she looked like Starfire. Yeah.
Yeah, but her name is Mongal, so I thought maybe she was Mongol's child. Regardless, she's gonna die.
well,
Nobody cares.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wiki, and Mongal is the
twin sister of Mongol.
twin sister of Mongol. Yeah.
Okay, well, she's dead then. Yep.
Yeah. And she
Yeah,
looks
she's-
she looks like Goro minus the second pair of arms.
She's a big muscle. thing.
Like Goro, except that one for the mixed Goro Goro.
Oh, so
Well, I
she
mean,
looks
like,
like
she's-
someone.
Yeah.
She looks like someone that Hunter would want to have step on them.
Yeah.
Is she tall enough?
No.
But the trailer
Yeah,
looks
I don't
great.
She's not
Anything
second
else?
brain status.
Behind the scenes stuff looks
Yeah.
really cool. Oh, the fucking Harley Quinn redesign is a gift from the gods. Holy shit, I like that design
Yes.
so
Oh,
much.
it's so good.
Yes.
It takes what we have from the comics, like the classic red and black, and like modernizes it in a not gross way.
Yeah.
Really fucking
Yeah.
cool looking.
Yeah,
Um,
amazingly, she's not going to be wearing sequin like short shorts and bending over in it.
Right.
And
Mhm.
not dressed like she's going to fucking EDC or Burning Man.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Isn't she in a wedding dress in one shot?
She's in like a big red, like kind of like a Beetlejuice looking dress.
I think there's going to be I think there's actually going to be a lot of reused footage from the unused David Ayer cut. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Because
David Ayer's like, you sons of bitches. Now I can't even go make my cut.
No, you say that, but isn't there like a release of David Ayer cut? Like thing
Yeah,
going
there is, but it is not getting nearly the same traction, and I wonder why.
All I'm saying is,
Everyone's like, nah.
all I'm saying
Good
is,
dog.
release the teeth cut.
God damn it. Are you talking about Sonic right now?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I agree.
I think I'm not sure if anyone else has heard this theory, but I think people were. Is Sonic on DVD yet? First of all,
It's available. Yes.
DVDs don't exist anymore.
I was gonna say, Carl, what is a DVD?
Sonic Out. Like, is it like?
Yes. Yeah, you can rent it and all the other things.
Okay,
and
like I think
various
for
ways.
a while people were like, watch, they'll put that entire fucking movie featuring that abomination on the disc and say like, oh, it's special features.
No, they won't.
I would,
Right.
I would
And then
watch
they
it.
won't pay the company that went bankrupt trying to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll put in the deleted scenes as the last one, and it's just the whole movie. Yeah, yeah,
I really like that movie, but like,
you
man,
would.
No, okay. Here's the thing: that movie, it should be much worse than it is. It should be like trash.
I'm glad that it's not super bad. Like knowing that I listened to a podcast by the writer.
Right, that makes me feel good too. I was watching it like, please don't make me have to unsubscribe from this
Exactly.
podcast that I really like.
It's such a good podcast.
For listening to this, and I got out of it. I was like, you know what? That was fine. That was aggressively fine.
as a video game movie, it's pretty
Right.
Is
On
a
that
video game movie?
scale.
It's probably top 3 of all time.
Right.
By that,
This
just by
is-
just not being horrible, it's top 3.
I just want to say the fact that Mortal Kombat is staying strong in the top 3.
Well,
It's currently unrivaled as far as like as far as
Actually,
pure
Detective,
enjoyment.
Detective
I would-
Pikachu is 1.
I would put
Mm.
Detective Pikachu right up with Mortal Kombat. Honestly, I like that movie a lot.
On the
Yeah.
on the backhanded positivity on Sonic, I'm going to have to take all of your words for it because I am never going to give that movie a
That's
minute
great.
of my
Here's the
fucking
thing, Eric.
time.
That's
I'm proud
completely
of
fair.
you.
You should be.
Yeah. You're
You
Eric.
should be.
Eric, you're
the
correct.
coolest, Eric.
you presumptive motherfucker. Yeah,
You're a cool motherfucker. You know that?
I am.
All I'll
Yeah.
say is, I watched Sonic on Mother's Day with my mother.
Why do you hate your mom so much, Arlen?
She actually wanted to watch it. She was the one who was like, "I want to watch Sonic." I was like, "Are you sure, Mom? Are you sure you want to watch Sonic?" And she was like,
Is your
"Yeah."
mom a super big Sonic the Hedgehog fan?
No, but it
Have
was
you
the
seen
only.
my Tumblr, Arlen?
Remember, this was like March
They
25th.
changed his arms color.
Or no, it wasn't. No, Mother's Day is May. No, it wasn't her birthday. I can't actually fucking remember if it was her birthday. Either way,
I prefer the chubby Sonic, Arlen.
maybe it was Monday, but this was deep into quarantine, and the only thing out at the moment was Sonic. And
Sonic 2 is the best game of all time, Arlen.
I love that my mom is from the East Coast, like my stepfather. I love that my very country-sounding mom at times as the East Coast accent.
Arlen, your stepfather has a tanker truck full of biscotti. You need to eat it all right now.
I don't even know what these accents are. Jesus.
I don't even know. I don't know either. I'm like, do these accents actually exist?
Eric's accent is slipping into English.
I was just saying,
Like
I
proper
grew up in New
English,
Jersey.
yeah.
I was born in Staten Island. All my family lives in New York. I don't know where these are coming from.
I'm a man of the world.
What the fuck was after Suicide Squad?
Oh,
I
was it
don't
I don't
the
remember
greatest?
because I was
I think it was the
watching-
greatest thing of all time. Batman Beyond Mystery Science Theater of Batman 66.
What? Like, this was so fucking bizarre. And the
It
longer
was
when I
so
was like,
good.
oh my god, this is so entertaining.
It's mesmerizing, Terry.
Do you have a mustache? Also, like the entire thing, like as they're just shitting on like Batman the '60s TV show, I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I even like that show anymore?
Wait, you're talking about the 66 or Beyond?
Yeah,
Oh,
66.
66
Oh,
is
beyond.
66 is it's out of context. It's like undescribable to like what it is.
Like,
It's
oh,
so
what was it? Terry's like, those eyebrows drawn on your cowl? What's happening there?
weird. That's not me, Terry. Also, just listening to Kevin Conroy do anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glad they found something to do. But after that, I don't remember. I think this is actually where I had to take off for a little bit.
Was it Snyder Cut? Because
No.
the last thing was Suicide Squad. The game was the last thing, right?
No, the Batman, the Matt Reeves.
The Batman
trailer.
was last. I think it was
Yeah.
Snyder Cut was next.
It might
Okay.
have been, yeah. Which it was really good to see T.J. Miller's character from Ready Player One to get another role as Darkseid. So
He looks strange, but like
Mhm.
one, it looks like his costume has been replaced by just like how his body is shaped.
Yeah, it looks like he has the
Yeah.
Infinity Scar on his chest.
Yeah, he has a scar.
Yeah.
What's his name looks better.
Steppenwolf looks fucking wild as shit this time.
Yeah. And the character over there, like we were talking about in the chat, was like the fact that like Desaad seems to be in this is mind blowing and interesting. 'Cause he's a fucking cool ass character.
Yeah, he is.
I'm gonna come out right out and say it. Like, first of all, I know that like there was that tweet that got circulated of like Snyder like snapping on some dude for saying the trailer was just stuff we've seen before. First of all, trailer's a whole bunch of shit we haven't seen before.
It was all stuff that we haven't seen before, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, you and me kind of went a little bit at it in the one thing, but like the trailer has all new stuff, like amazing new stuff.
New stuff that's been like polished and like worked on.
Cyborg has actually like story.
Cyborg looks to have the big emotional arc throughout the movie.
Oh, you mean like they took an actor who's awesome and Joe Morton gave him like use stuff that he actually did?
Yeah. And I guess we alluded before, like the Speed Force looks like it's being represented, and it looks fucking nutty. It just looks like this constant stream of energy just kind of going in one direction, and he's in this like weird craggy surface. I still don't like the blue light. I hate it.
We see Barry save Iris.
Yeah. More of the black suit. We saw Steppenwolf. More Amazonians.
There was Atlantis stuff too. We saw. I don't remember who. We didn't really. Somebody with a crown is doing shit, but it's not Aquaman. So I don't know if it's supposed to be the previous king.
So I heard that in Snyder's cut, the original idea was for him to go and take the trident from an old king. And in the Whedon cut, he just takes it from like some dead guard.
Oh, I wonder if it's the
Snyder cut was intended to be more of an introduction to Aquaman and Atlantis than what was in Whedon's cut.
I wonder if it's flashbacks to, I can't remember the characters. It's like Oron. He's in Infinite Crisis because there's an old character.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it's Oron is like the original king of Atlantis who had the trident.
Yeah. Also, who's Defoe in Aquaman again?
I don't know.
The guy from
I can't remember his name at all. Honestly, it's him.
It's the guy from the Lighthouse with Batman.
Yeah.
This is post fucking the Lighthouse.
This is what happens at the end of the Lighthouse. They are sucked into the DC universe.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Willem Dafoe's character in the Lighthouse is his character from Antichrist, and he went to the Lighthouse to get away from everything.
What happened is Robert Pattinson was actually playing Jason Todd, and then when he fucked the mermaid, he created Aquaman.
There you go.
Oh,
there you
My
go.
point was his character from Aquaman was
and
supposed
Ben
to be.
Affleck is actually Deathstroke, right?
Yeah.
That's been happening for years now.
I looked it up. He's Volko.
Volko, that's right.
And Robert Eggers is actually David Ayer in a mustache.
I was actually angry because Aquaman is one of my favorite superhero movies. So I was actually like, why do I not know his name's Volko? But yeah, it's Volko. He's pretty cool.
And looks like we got like one more shot of the final battle, and that I think I've ever seen before.
The only
growing up in the fucking in that fight in the black suit.
The only question I have is, are they going to put Deathstroke in this? Because he was supposed to be in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Well, he was in an after credit scene with Jesse
Right.
Oh
Eisenberg.
yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like he was originally
So,
in the movie. It's
From what
probably
John has told me, they're releasing it in 4 1-hour sets on HBO Max.
right.
That's so weird.
Okay, so it's going to be a 4-hour movie at some point,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot.
But Twin Peaks season 3 is an 18-hour film. All right,
Yeah.
like it's been done before in much longer formats.
I
But
don't know.
Right. Yeah. I'm not gonna- yeah.
in 1-hour episodes, and I heard they're gonna also make it so you can watch it as one complete thing.
But have you sat
Right.
through all of Twin Peaks 18 hours?
Nobody has, Lou. Not a
Nobody
single
has.
person has.
I'm not gonna shit on the Snyder cut because like I honestly I don't really care either way. It's just a thing, it's a thing of where like I'm glad that these people have like the good, let's call them the good Snyder cut fans, because I've seen a couple where but
Yeah.
I'm glad that Warner Brothers is actually like doing something to appease fans instead of pissing them off.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
my big thing is that like I just want this to be done with, so all of this shit can be done with.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, I'm more excited for the closure than the Snyder cut itself.
And I
Yeah.
think like on my end of the fence, like the closure is the one thing we care about the most. It's like because now because initially it was like release a Snyder cut, and most people were like that's never gonna fucking happen. But I always thought like if there's money to be made, then studio's gonna fucking do it at some point. But I like at this point I'm interested and it looks good, but it being good or bad isn't really like part of the goal for me. It's like I just want to see what this dude made. I want to see the uncompromised vision. Like I want to see the painting. Like I want to, and then if it's bad, it's bad. Whatever. Like that doesn't change anything. But the fact that like I also, like I said 100 times, I feel for the dude, and I just want him to be able to do this thing that he seems to care so much about, despite the fact that it rubs some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
well,
Look,
go ahead, Lou.
I was gonna say like because I'm only gonna like just because like me and Connor were like going back and forth in one of the conversations for a bit today. Like I completely agree with you. I want to see what he did. Because like one, I didn't like what we got. I think the thing that like bugs me, like it's not bugs me, it's like the thing I don't like about Snyder, and I could want to see his thing and not like part of him, is that like I don't like the idea of like this is the like grown-up version, and like I don't like it's like his entire thing kind of turned DC like the DC movies into this thing that it didn't need to be. Yeah. Which is why we ended up where we did. I still want to see his vision, but like that's
he
still
took a weird stand that I don't understand.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it that maybe he is fucking sick of this and like he lashed out, which in that case, like totally understandable.
Oh yes, I completely agree with you there.
Right. Well, I'm thinking even further back, like the fact that David Ayer years ago felt like he had to say "fuck Marvel," that's a problem for me. That he felt like that was the attitude that he had to put forth of like, and fuck the people who aren't doing what we're doing. We're doing the edgy, gritty, not for your parents version of these characters.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the studio people and Snyder and them feeding into the gross internet part of it.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I feel like it wasn't the other way around. It's like the internet was like, oh, the DC fans like, oh, we're the real grown-up shit. Like, we're fucking tough. We're not all cartoony. And they kind of fed into that rather than just like doing what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Well, and to get really pedantic here, the fact that they had to put how much money into this to make it the quote-unquote Snyder cut.
It was a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's kind of like you funded the second half of a movie that technically didn't even exist, so it's not really even the Snyder cut. It's the Snyder redirected version of the film.
It's the movie we were supposed to get, and then they had to spend extra money on it afterwards to release that was originally supposed to be made.
$20 to $30 million.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a weird thing to say, like, we'll throw money at this now. It's like, okay, well, why didn't you throw faith in it before, and you wouldn't have had to do this years later? If they panic and like,
they saw what was happening with Marvel and were desperate.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah,
everyone was
among other
complaining
things.
about sepia tones, and they were like, "Oh shit, we need some color. Let's get
Well,
the Marvel.
also,
Let's get the guy Marvel cut loose."
a bunch of executives were about to fucking quit their jobs, and they were like, "We want to
Oh,
fucking
we want to get that bonus money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got that cocaine money.
yeah."
Yeah,
And
it's
again, yeah.
no.
No,
Go ahead, Arlen. Go ahead.
I was
Stand
going
your
to repeat
ground,
my
sir.
joke from earlier. So you do.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, your point earlier about Ayer saying, like, yeah, fuck Marvel. Like, I don't think I've ever once heard anybody from any of the Marvel films say anything that inflammatory about DC. They've always been our competition, the other films that are out there, things along those lines. Which,
Oh,
our
what is
competition
the
is them
old?
being
What's the
kind.
old Stanley?
It's all
our distinguished competition.
right.
Yes.
It's always been perfectly professional. Kevin Feige's been like, I want those films to succeed. I want them to be good so that I am pushed to make better films.
Yep.
That was never the sense that I got.
And the closest we ever got to this was someone asking Jeff Goldblum if he would appear in a DC film, and he just makes this face and he goes, oh, "What's the difference?"
He's like, "Wait, which one was I in?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like the teaser that we saw for the Snyder Cut, like, I'm definitely interested, but the flip side of that is Zack Snyder is very good at making trailers. Very good at making trailers.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm kind of like, well, we'll see. I mean,
I
I have
agree.
HBO Max, so
Yeah,
it's all you have to
that's
pay
the
for
other
this.
thing.
So
Yeah, and like back to the whole idea of like closure, like I think it's good for everyone involved because like people who want to see this movie just for what it is will get closure, and like that, and like fucking Snyder can get this off his chest and move on because I'm sure it's attached to a very painful memory of his.
Well,
and
yeah.
I want him to stop taking up retail space in a whole lot of people's minds, and they can move the fuck on with it.
Yeah.
Because
Also, I would like to
tired
do
of
other
it.
things. I would. Here's the thing. Even if I don't agree with some of his personal politics, and I still don't, and I never will, I think he's a good artist. And I want to be very clear there, a good artist. And I think he has interesting things that he can do. I would like him not to spend the next 10 years of his life stuck in one lane, doing the same thing over and over again, and for him to do other things. That does not mean that I am excited for Army of the Dead because of the things that I've heard that are maybe not my favorite. But still,
you have to let me know.
Rape zombies. Rape zombies.
So
him doing other things.
Do people rape zombies, or are the zombies raping people?
No.
A woman gives birth to a zombie after a zombie gangbang.
Wait,
that's a thing.
How does that work? So they don't eat a living woman.
It's in the script, Lou.
Script.
Well, I'm not in Hollywood. I don't read goddamn scripts.
It's out there, Lou. It's public. You can search for the script and you can find.
I am not having rape zombies in my goddamn search history.
Lou, it's
okay, so I'll give you the short version. Somewhere in the script it says the zombies have been pushed back to their most basic instincts. That's their explanation. That all they have is their sex drive and their desire to eat. That's all they have left.
Anyway.
And real quick, I just want to say, and Lou, that's a bit of a misnomer because you don't know if they eat the girl or not. We'll find out when they're raping her. Yeah,
they might eat her except for her stomach. It just might be.
No, I don't.
No, I think he was referring to eating her
body.
out.
Oh yeah, that too.
I was picking up.
Let's get off this. Let's get off
me myself from this bit.
Get off this.
So
zombies do. Yeah.
Or Suicide Squad the game.
I want to talk about the fucking Batman before I get too tired.
No, let's talk about the Batman because the Suicide Squad game trailer. It's fun, but like
there's no gameplay.
It's not
very bright.
Really.
Okay, I do want to say, fuck everybody who thought this was like games as a service. Like,
I thought we did this bit already.
No, because I feel vindicated. All right,
right?
Because I've been on this train, so it's a Rocksteady game. Get fucked. Okay. All right.
Well, I'll say this also. This is, I guess, next year is the year of accurate Suicide Squad depictions. So that's great. That's cool.
two things about that trailer real quick were it's very colorful, and I like that quite a bit. And the choice of Outcast Bombs Over Baghdad was inspired. I love
I love that song.
Yes.
It is weird to see a Rocksteady like Batman related game in broad fucking daylight.
Yeah. It felt so good. I was, but yeah, I'm glad that they're still working on it. I didn't actually realize it was still them.
Yeah, but something that was not at all bright, or
oh my
or
God.
hopeful or anything else. Like this trailer is fucking grim, and I love it.
Yes,
but it's grim in like a Batman way that makes sense. And
It is
it's
cool. It's nearly Burton looking. Like everyone's pale. It looks cold, and like everything looks miserable.
He fucking brutalizes that dude.
Yeah,
that scene is. I say this with great compliments. Daredevil-esque. In like every way I want it to be, because like those characters are very similar, and like what he does is what we saw in Daredevil Netflix, and it works where he's just like fucking breaks the guy's arm and then continues. It doesn't
Daredevil
stop.
It's Daredevil if they had the budget of the movies. That's what it is. And
as Arlen and I have pointed out a lot, like it's a big step up from the Krav Maga in the Dark Knight movies, because like that is the most non-cinematic way of fighting.
As time has gone on, I kind of hate it. I don't.
Well,
like
because
it
like
all.
especially the Bane fight at the end of Dark Knight Rises, like that is a series of just people punching. Like it's just two guys punching each other.
Like,
right.
You mean where the movie is solved when it's like, oh, I know how to beat you. I punch you in the face harder.
Well, okay. We can't turn this into a re-examination of the Dark Knight Rises, but I'll say this: in a good fight, you wouldn't notice that. That wouldn't be a problem in a well choreographed fight.
No, you're right. You're right.
No, you're right. And the difference here is like it's serving what he's doing is insane, and also serving the purpose he's trying to do, which is instill fear. So like breaking the arm and crushing the guy.
And he's doing it in front of people who are like recording him, and he's just so good.
Well, it's
so
good. It's not even that they're recording; it's that they're recording it in their brain, so they're like, "Oh God!" Like
they're recording it in their shit in their pants.
Yeah, it's everything that Batman is supposed to be, which is a force of fucking fear in these people's minds. Like he's a good guy, but there's a reason why criminals fear him, because he will dismantle you, and that's good to see.
I've always said that Batman doesn't kill, but he makes you wish you did. He did.
Oh no, he doesn't kill, but he cripples.
Yeah, he cripples.
Yeah, it's kind of good to see too, because it feels like this would be a natural progression after like year one Batman, where like he's not 100% sure what he's doing, and he's like, all right, let's do this to see if I can strike fear into them, and like, oh, that works when I absolutely destroy someone's jawbone. Like it's just and I don't mean to keep focusing on that, because there's a lot of really other interesting imagery in this teaser trailer.
Well, there's a complete aesthetic here. Like he's working with the GCPD, but they don't quite seem to trust him all the way yet.
He's there on the scene they're talking to, which we only really see Robert Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright. We don't really see anybody else of the big names.
Right, but you do see him in GCPD. You see him in their like
he's in that jail cell though. But no, he's in that it looks like a jail cell with a bunch of cops.
If you notice when he's walking in, everybody's like staring at him with almost disgust. Like
because they're like, who is this fucking maniac in a costume?
And in their eyes, like he's antagonizing these people, so like he could be making things worse before they ever get better. Also, like just the tone and the set, like the look of Gotham now is like it
feels gross.
It is really, really dour looking, and it's not dour looking, but like it looks dead. It looks like something that people abandoned. Like it looks so fucking cold and grim.
Yeah, it feels like Detroit just a couple years ago, where it was really just not a good place to be.
Also, I forgot.
Detroit is having kind of a comeback, not a real comeback, but there are people.
Oh, did they kick the Bears out?
And that's not even like the bad part. The Bears are on the outskirts.
Right.
Detroit's the only city in the world that's shrinking its borders.
It is.
Yeah.
It's shrinking its
Because
borders.
bears are coming in.
Well, I say there's a comeback because, because the place where it's doing the best. God damn it! The Bears they're reading newspapers and they're.
Arlen's
going
saying
to
that
school.
because he's being paid by Chevrolet.
Yeah, that's right. I am. No, there's
by
the only part of the only part of Detroit that's doing well right now is that maybe it's not Detroit, maybe it's somewhere else in Michigan, but I think it's close. Is that there are areas where a large Muslim population has moved in and they're fixing it up. That's the thing.
Oh, that's a different part of Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's.
There's a part of Michigan that's weird that has. I say weird because it has the second largest population of Ethiopian people in the world.
Them and Minnesota, they share the largest population of Minnesota or of Ethiopians.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
Yeah.
Anyways, Batman. But no, everything about this trailer looks cool.
I forgot that Paul Dano was cast as Riddler. I think officially. And so, like this whole trailer, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah,
right.
Riddler. That's the most wild take on the Riddler I've ever seen.
Well, I had brought up in the chat, like, I think they're going to be having the Riddler also be the holiday killer from Batman Long Halloween.
Which would make sense, but
because Long Halloween was a lot of the inspiration for this based on the characters they're using.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do see a bigger guy. Do we know who that's supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it made me think, and this is something I think
Shark.
months ago. Maybe it is. It's his origin. Something I brought up months ago, and I was like, yeah, maybe this would be fun. Maybe it's a Hannibal Lecter. I can never remember the other guy's name, but maybe it's like a Hannibal Lecter situation where there's one guy who's like guiding another guy into being a killer or being a criminal, with Calendar Man, and maybe that bigger guy is Calendar Man because they focus on him a lot. He's doing like a press conference or something. I don't know.
I'll repeat what I said before. Fuck Calendar Man.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
We don't need him. Like I think trying to put too many villains in a movie is going to be exactly what happened with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3.
You look at this cast list, though. And we see it in the trailer. We have Selena Kyle as Catwoman. We don't see in the trailer at all Colin Farrell, who's the
Penguin.
Yeah. Well, so they've described. I think they described the plot months ago. We've actually put Batman in our docket a lot of times, but we never actually talked about it. I feel like the plot that they were describing was that it's basically one night of a lot of characters just showing up. That's what I remember them saying, which kind of fits with what we saw.
Well, they said it's like year 2, right?
Yeah.
I think is what I've seen.
Well, that's what a lot of people were saying, and it does look like year 2. It feels like year 2.
Yeah, well, the fact that he's talking to the GC, like he's at a crime scene, and Jeffrey Wright is talking to him because they're he's the only really person that we see talk, right? We don't hear. I think we hear like Robert Pattinson say like 2 lines.
Yeah, maybe. He says vengeance, and then I don't know if he says we hear a lot of what I assume is Alfred talking.
Yeah, we hear Circus as Alfred, but we don't hear Pattinson as Bruce.
Well, we do when he says "I'm vengeance," and the fact that he doesn't have a modulator and isn't doing a stupid voice that really makes me happy.
Yes,
that's Batman though. Luke did say
Batman.
Bruce.
We don't see him as Bruce. We just see him
for the most part.
He tackles someone, but he doesn't speak.
Yes.
Yeah, there's that funeral, but he doesn't really say much. He looks very emo and very early Christian Bale.
He
kind of looks like Conor McGraw.
He looks
he does.
He looks unhinged. Almost.
Yeah, he
does.
He totally does. Very emo. He's listened to a lot of insert Hunter's favorite emo band.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that they have the eye black is he actually puts that eye grease on under the mask.
Yeah.
In every movie before this, when someone unmasks him or he unmasks, he has the black shit on his face, and then he cuts, he's removing it, and it's gone.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like the only thing they ever did that was CW. Didn't they do that with some of their shit?
I feel like there's a moment in Batman and Robin where he still has it on. I don't fucking
Batman
remember.
Returns when he takes off his cowl in front of Selina, like he has it, and then when the moment he goes, like when he reveals himself, he rips the cowl off and it's just magically gone.
Right.
Bruce Wayne, what are you doing dressed up like Batman?
We need to do those movies at some point.
Yeah,
because
in BVS when the nightmare sequence is happening and Superman rips off his cowl, it happens there again too. Like he has the black makeup on under his eyes. You can see it. Cowl off, it's gone.
I mean, that's a good way to transition into. So, where do we think this movie takes place? When,
where,
how?
Gotham.
Well, because those kids have phones. That's the main thing. Those kids definitely have cell phones that they're recording him on, unless those are flip cameras.
I mean, I could see it being like not specifying a time period and having kind of stuff that's a mix, kind of like Batman the Animated Series was, where there's like an I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for, where
it takes place in 2010.
It's a weird mix of time periods, so you don't have to nail it down. Yeah, I guess that might be the word. It's I want to say anarchist or not anarchistic, but kind of. Yeah, like I think that would be the best way to do it.
I think my biggest question is like, at what I don't know based on the trailer if he is back, quote unquote, as Bruce Wayne yet, and if those shots of him in the suit are later on in the film, because that would be an interesting take. If this is him trying to figure out if he wants to be back as Bruce, or if he's just 100% of the time Batman, and Alfred's like, you can't just be this.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that's kind of something that
the year one Snyder run was a lot of that.
Yeah,
and I could see them pulling from that in an interesting way.
Arkham Origins even has some of that, where he doesn't really do a lot of Bruce stuff.
Because we only see him as what we think as Bruce in that one scene where he saves someone, where he's in the suit, and then we've seen pictures of the funeral. Otherwise, we don't see him as Bruce.
Yeah, I hadn't ever thought about that. Yeah, and I totally forgot about like the year one influence that this movie has. So,
I'm curious. I feel like they're keeping it neutral to sort of go to what Erik, your response was, because I think that they know that they're waiting for how the rest of this universe plays out. So they're going to keep it as sort of neutral as they can, so that you can say that, well, if it takes place in 2007, there's nothing in here that says it couldn't have taken place in 2007 or whatever year you want to say.
Is it at all? Could it even be connected to the older like the Snyderverse stuff?
It might not. Well, here's the thing. Everything that we've heard from Warner Brothers and DC suggests that they aren't sold on the idea of doing a universe.
That's what I thought. Because
they'll do it because
I feel like Wonder Woman's like sort of a soft reboot of her.
Yeah, and I mean, James Wan has said that Aquaman 2 will definitely be a sequel to Aquaman, which doesn't say much about what a universe looks like going forward. But I'm curious if they're even going to address the idea of a universe. Like, that's actually the one main thing, not to go back to Justice League, about that movie that's interesting is, will it ignite an interest for more Justice League as a concept? And that could be like the main positive that could come out of it for me. Is like, people seem to not really care about the Justice League. I don't necessarily care about seeing them because I don't really need them.
The one thing is, though, isn't there that show that's connected to this movie?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the GCPD type of thing.
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be like, actually, maybe that was the year 2 stuff, and maybe this is earlier.
Well,
no, I think I heard today it's the show is year 1, the movie's year 2.
So it goes to the question: are they doing not pocket universes, but each character has sort of their own arena that they exist in, and you do an expanded universe just for that character, but you don't necessarily do the big, wide scope universe that Marvel's been doing.
I remember them saying that this was like the start of the Bat universe, and they were going to spin off. Like, this is also before. wasn't like Whedon supposed to do a Batgirl, which that's totally
I mean, yeah, that's dead because they
But
already
that was-
replaced him. They
Yeah.
already replaced him with at least another writer. I don't know if they replaced him with another director, but they definitely replaced him with another.
Sure,
writer.
they will. But like, yeah, wasn't that like the original idea? Was that they were going to do like a Batverse?
I've
Yeah.
definitely heard, and honestly, I think at the moment it's a smarter decision. It's a more interesting decision, and it's more Warner Brothers decision.
It's definitely more of a Warner Brothers decision. It makes sense that way.
Yeah.
What else? It definitively sets them apart from their competition. Whereas, which is I think the thing they needed to begin with. But the thing they went with was like, no, this is darker. Okay, well, like anything else?
Right.
No.
This is more character focused, and in a weird way,
tech decks.
right? In a weird way, it makes you competitive with Marvel in a way that maybe they are anticipating this. Where the thing about Marvel is that you care so much about the characters. In this case, you can be more true to the characters because you're not worried about how they fit in with other characters. So you can be more true to Batman by focusing on him and the characters around him, and not have to worry about how he interacts with Superman or Wonder Woman. You don't have to worry about that dynamic.
If they are embracing the idea of a multiverse, then your crossovers, like your big event movies, become something different, entirely different. Like this Flashpoint movie, I think this proposed Flashpoint movie is a big thing for this because we'll get one Batman. No, we'll get two fucking Batman.
Right.
Batman.
And it's not even the one that's in the movie that they're making right now.
The only problem I can see with them focusing exclusively on single character universes is that they will run out of ripe storylines to use because the storylines do all eventually end with and then Superman showed up, or then there was a mission that Aquaman was needed for, or whatever. Like you unfortunately adapting a comic book medium, you're going to have to accept the fact that there's going to be crossover like that at some point. And if this is
for all characters but Batman, probably.
If this is them slowing their roll to such a point that they're like, listen, we're just going to do this for a bit and then get to JLA, I'm fine with that because that's what Marvel did.
I think they could, like, you can't resist the box office potential of like they want that Avengers money. Everyone wants that,
especially if they're all doing well. If that's where if you wait till they're all doing well, if you wait till Wonder Woman has like 5 movies under her belt and all of them are giant successes, and there are 3-4 Aquaman movies and 2 Shazams. If that's the point in which you decide let's do JLA.
Well, unfortunately, Arlen, women aren't allowed to have more than 2 successful films.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. They can't go to space.
Yeah,
they're not allowed.
They also can't watch movies ever.
Yes.
Them's the rules, as we all know. But I'm curious about how this will work out for them. And something that sort of is in where you were talking about, Eric, which is that oh god, did I lose my fucking wording for this? I had a point, but now it's not coming together in my brain. So somebody talk.
I would say, like, with the other couple of things we saw, because we also got like some Black Adam stuff, which has JSA. It's kind of super confusing, this entire thing, because like we get which it's not like a full trailer, but it's like we're having Hawkman.
So
Dr.
that kind
Fate.
of goes to what I was thinking of, which is that this could create confusion, which I don't think is as big of a problem as it might have been years ago, but it could be an issue if you have too many different Batmans running around in the film universe. I think when it comes to there's a TV Batman and there's a movie Batman, I don't think that's as big of a problem.
I don't think Ben Affleck's coming back.
True, but even if it's not Ben Affleck, the idea that you could still have another Michael Keaton movie, even if the Flash movie that comes out says that there will never be another Michael Keaton movie, that idea is almost enough to cause confusion in a lot of audiences. To be like, wait, this Batman timeline that started 40 years ago is still in play?
I think the only way you can get away with that is if that Keaton verse somehow turns into Batman Beyond.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the only way you can get away with it. Like, is if you can play with that.
Right. And that's not even a problem. It's that, like, what if there's a third Batman who shows up who's completely disconnected from all of this?
Adam West is dead, so Val Kilmer has no jaw.
The other danger with the Reeves Batman films, the other danger with the Reeves Batman films being their own separate thing is I can see some fuckery going on at Warner Brothers where they're like, well, the Nolan movies were really good and they did 3 of them like that, so let's just aim towards the Nolan, and they'll go down the same path they did before. And I'm not saying they will, because I think they've lost enough money that they're like, all right. But it's still a potential for that to happen, because if Warner Brothers / AT&T is going to do anything, they're going to fuck stuff up.
Along the same line, I think Walter Yamada is smart enough to handle all of this stuff, but I would hate to see them replace Walter Yamada with somebody completely different who doesn't quite know what they're doing.
Who enjoys sandwiches and throwing them.
Right. Somebody,
No, they're in charge of like 17 different Spider-Man films. So
yeah,
exactly.
Can I end this on one thing though that I thought was really interesting? On an event called DC Fandom, there was nothing about the comic books.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the
tomorrow.
Next. It's September, I think, is the next day.
Oh yeah. They broke this into 2 days, and then there's going to be another event, I think, that does deal with the comics later on down the line.
It's weird. Like, I think I like the kind of looking at DC like pulling back. It's like we talked about the video games. Like, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? They were going to sell this division.
Yeah.
And the last 2 weeks, they fired everybody at DC Comics.
Yeah.
I do think it's weird, but like on the whole September thing, it's not that weird to me. Like, I'm a tech consumer review watcher person, whatever that means. So like, I'm used to Apple having like 5 of these kinds of events every year, and Samsung having like 15 of them. So it's not that unusual to me. I do think you're right. Like, yeah, it's weird that comics weren't addressed, but at the same time, considering what happened last week, maybe it's all right if they don't want to get straight into.
Maybe don't bring that up immediately.
Maybe let some wounds heal a little bit.
Maybe this would have. My thought was like maybe this would have been a good time to introduce your 2 new female editors.
Sure.
On stage, or on like a virtual stage.
Right, on stage in quotes. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's just like
go ahead.
I was just say, like, with something being called DC Fandom, the source material is the one thing that's not talked about.
Looking at the schedule for DC Fandom, there's stuff tomorrow. It looks like, unless they've changed things around, because the Flash TV panel encore. Oh, it's just an encore presentation with some of this stuff. Okay, never mind. So it looks like they're doing an encore tomorrow. So if people who didn't get to watch it. Jim Lee portfolio review Sunday, August 23rd. Yeah, I don't know. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the only comic book thing I saw was when Patty Jenkins was talking to Venus Williams, and she was like, "Oh, the first thing I ever saw was like Wonder Woman with Linda Carter, and then me and Jim Lee were working on a thing." I was like, "Oh, is that what Jim Lee's doing now?" Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, I'm not to say like I love the DC comics. I love all the DC stuff. I do the comic show. It's just funny that like this big event was so owned by everything that wasn't actually comics.
Yeah, don't worry. Marvel's gonna come in and buy DC. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then Disney's tentacles will extend everywhere. Yeah, it's weird. I think that's just the time we're entering, where the comics are going to be demoted more and more, and I don't necessarily feel good about that.
No, I don't either.
I don't know. Maybe it's weird, but like I feel like the other side doesn't do that as bad. Like they mix it in a little bit more.
They definitely try to make them part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like they do more to make the comics feel not essential but important. I would say, yeah, like
Yeah.
there's more of a sense of reverency for the comics, just in general.
Yeah, I think it also happened to be with like with everything going on at DC Comics side. It's like it's even more highlighted.
Yeah, best not just bring up the comics like altogether at this moment.
yeah. Being that we're going on 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, we should probably wrap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm on like I don't know, like hour 6 or 7 of podcasting straight through. We spoke plugs actually. We just did Body Melt as the end of our barbecue month, and that movie is a fucking trip. Holy shit. It's about a pharmaceutical company who uses these little this little cul-de-sac as a testing ground for some like supplement, and everyone who takes it has some kind of horrifying Cronenberg body horror death.
Huh.
So it's like the WWE.
I was gonna say it's like an episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, strange world that we
Dinosaurs
live
on a
in.
spaceship.
Not that one. I love that that's the one you know though.
But we also just did Robot Jocks, we did Munchie, and we've still got Razorback out. So yeah, that's our barbecue month. It's wrapping up, and I am way too tired to do any more extended plugs, so that's all I got.
Yeah. Lost Horror Podcast. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff. We're doing a streaming preview thing soon-ish. Hopefully more Bond. A episode about Humphrey Bogart. Look forward to that. So yeah, that's my plug.
Teespring.com/America's Boyfriend. I'm also looking into starting Twitch streaming soon. I have working on a setup. I live in an apartment with 2 other people, so it's gonna be interesting trying to set that up. But yeah, look forward to that. Other than that, I got nothing. Don't follow me on social media. Fuck you.
I'm Erik Fedorchik. You can find me at Erik_Fedor on Instagram. Picture of dogs and food and cats and comics. There's also the Phantom Zone group, which you should go join and hang out and talk and do whatever on there and argue with us individually about why we're wrong or right, and maybe we'll invite you on the show.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe not, because your equipment doesn't want to work for whatever reason, right, Leo? Right, Leo?
Or you have a bad day job.
Also, I wanted to point out that I had a fun experience at work where we hired a new guy, and I don't know 100%, but from talking to him, I'm pretty sure he's gay, but whatever. If he's not, he's not. He's a little bit more feminine. Just hold on. Where's this going? Just stop it. I'm being serious here. He's a little bit feminine, and apparently one of the people I work with seems to have a real fucking issue with him. He won't. He won't come out and say anything blatantly homophobic, but he definitely has a hinting of that in an underscore with some of the comments he's made. So my big thing to anyone out there who has problems with anyone who's gay, hey, guess what? This guy's nice. I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying he's a representation of all gay people in the world, because that would be weird. He'd be like some weird gay homunculus. From working with him, I don't have an insatiable need to go suck cock. That's not how being gay works. It doesn't get you infected and make you need to go do things.
Wow.
He's a gay guy. So what? Fucking get over it. Black lives matter, and fucking so do gay and trans lives. Get over your fucking selves, you small-minded pricks.
Actually, if you disagree with that, DM me so I can dunk on you.
Yeah, and you can DM him at young_Kame.
Well, I was going to say, as I've suggested many times before on this podcast, subscribe and then kill yourself. Right,
and let's do not risk stamping all over that fantastic ending. We're going to leave now.
Well, no.
Do I not get to do plugs? Because I'm the colored folk going to get to do plugs.
Exactly. Black Lives Matter.
I don't know how I follow this, except for if you listen to the comic show we just read, Quentin Tarantino's Zorro Django comic book that he did with
God damn it, that's perfect.
Vertigo and the other comic book company that's not good. And
right, the one that Alan hates. Yeah.
No, the one
something?
the Dynamite one. Yeah, they're not good.
Oh, you mean IDW?
No. Yeah. So it's actually really fucking good. And apparently there were rumors before the pandemic and the world ended that they were looking to make a movie.
I remember this.
With Antonio Banderas reprising his role. So,
God.
Oh, I did not hear that detail.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Nope.
Because in the book, it's Old Man Zorro.
Not to bring this into this, but the problem with that is that Zorro as a zombie movie thing is in production. I think it was shot and it's in the can somewhere. And some studios
hilarious.
There was like a future Zorro movie that we looked up that they were.
No, that's the movie. That's okay. We need to leave.
That is not happening. So yeah, we are watching The Mask of Zorro as part of that. So yeah, it's the weirdestly whitewashed movie of all time, but still awesome.
It's not that whitewashed. I only say that because
Catherine Zeta-Jones is Irish and Welsh.
No, but I've seen the sequel where they do much worse. They go even further with the whitewashing.
It's not like they couldn't do it worse.
Well, how about we cover this in your Zorro Apology cast? And let's get out of here. So,
I'm sorry.
Everybody.
That's like all the
we're at 2 hours. So, bye.